will be running 159.9 miles, Pro Stock 137.7 miles, Stock will be running 115.5 miles, and Sportsman ABCD will be running 68.1 miles. So right now the Pace Boat is bringing everyone out. The boats are on plane, and in just moments we will be having the green flag, and the Ray Catena 1990 Offshore Grand Prix will officially be underway. On the very inside we have the Predator, and then on the inside of him there's Wild Turkey, Metro 1 is there, Panama Jack is there, Executioner, the Predator, Mandy Fernandez's Ferrari, the Collection, hanging back slightly right in the middle of the screen. And we've got the green flag, Panama Jack going right out there, also the Executioner, Predator on the outside, and there's the Executioner. Lethal Weapon had come out. So on the outside right now, taking a quick early lead, it's Predator, and right on the inside, that red Fountain Racing hull, the Executioner. This is the Executioner race team, D85. It is a 40-foot red Fountain Racing hull, powered by 2 Baker inboard motors, 775 horsepower piece with Mercruiser drives. This boat is owned and driven by R. Alan Fuentes from Virginia Beach, Virginia. Ron Umland from Severna Park, Virginia is your throttle man, and Jack Haney is your navigator. Dave Simmons is the crew member. This is a brand new team for 1990, and they've certainly come out here with a great boat. Fountain race boats have been proven by the creator Reggie Fountain for many, many years. This year he's enjoying a good year, as well as his racing boat, as you can see right now. They're doing a great job. And on the outside, Predator is hanging very nicely. But the Executioner race team is looking very good. Prior to the 1990 season, they have had 4 starts in other combinations where they've taken 2 fourths and a second finish. And Mandy Fernandez's Team Ferrari, the Collection, has joined in the hunt. He's on the far outside and starting to make a move on Predator and the Executioner. We wish the Executioner all the best. Alan looks very strong. He should be a factor to be reckoned with throughout the day. The boat is running very good, and we certainly wish him a good run here today. Homeland's doing a great job on the throttling. On the outside, Mandy Fernandez is making the move, and he is now running in first overall. Having a great year, Fernandez is definitely going to be one to catch and a boat to be reckoned with throughout the day. But the Executioner is looking very strong right now. Those Baker motors are really doing the job. Right now you can see the Executioner and Predator are locked in a fierce battle. They're running 1-2 right now. They are in the same class. However, the Predator is running under a 10-minute penalty in that they had missed the drivers' meeting, so that's going to be a lot of time for them to make up. We'll have to see how that develops as the race goes on. But right now we're coming up on Mandy Fernandez's the Ferrari Collection race team. This is a 35-foot Jaguar racing hull powered by 2 800-horsepower Mercury inboard motors with Mercruiser drives. This boat is owned and throttled by Mandy Fernandez from Miami, Florida. Ed Shear from Cape Coral, Florida is your driver, and the crew chief is Ralph Garcia. What can we say? Mandy Fernandez's Team Ferrari, the Collection, has had an excellent year so far. They're presently in first place nationally in the OUMI Open category with a 10-point lead over Alan and Kirk Dunteman of the Agitator race team. They took a first at Key West, a second at Cape Coral, a second in Miami, and they're coming off a first-place finish in Sarasota, and they're certainly going to be the boat to be challenged here today. They're having an excellent year, and Mandy is very confident not only in his cruise abilities, but in the boat that he has this year. It's all come together for Mandy Fernandez's Ferrari, the collection race team. Now let's just sit and watch a true champion enjoying another fine run here today in Point Pleasant, New Jersey. What a fine job Fernandez is doing on the throttles right there. As that boat comes out, Mandy backs off, and as soon as those props are engaged in the water again, he is down on that throttle. Mandy Fernandez, certainly one of the stars on the 1990 APBA circuit. He's had many years of racing with many successful race teams, and right now for 1990, it's all come together for Mandy Fernandez and the Ferrari, the collection race team. Not only is Mandy doing a great job, but Ed Shear is driving an excellent race today. Mandy Fernandez, a true star in the APBA circuit, is having a very fine run here today. As you can see, he's certainly going to be one of the boats to catch here, if not the boat to beat. We wish Mandy and the rest of his crew all the best here today. And right now we're going to get close and get in the cockpit with Mandy Fernandez and Ed Shear of the Ferrari Team Collection Race Team. If you've often wondered what goes on in a racing cockpit, here's your bird's eye view. Robert Buss, our helicopter pilot, is doing an excellent job. On the inside, it's Ed Shear driving, and on the outside, working that throttle right there, is Mandy Fernandez, really putting this boat through its paces right now. Mandy doing an excellent job working that throttle, as you can see. What a great shot right there. Freeze frame video, striving to bring you nothing but excellence in offshore video productions. Now coming up, challenging Mandy Fernandez, it's D15, the Predator race team. There's a 41-foot yellow Apache powered by two 800-horsepower Stotler inboard motors with Mert Cruiser outdrives. This boat is owned and driven by Ed Toth of Sellersville, Pennsylvania, and Herb Stotler is your throttle man. So Toth and Stotler making up their Predator race team. And they're running very strong right now, trailing Mandy Fernandez. Unofficially, they're in second place behind Mandy right now and enjoying a very good run. But unfortunately, missing that driver's meeting and that 10-minute penalty has really set a challenge for them to make up that 10-minute time. We'll have to see how things go. Stotler's doing an excellent job on the throttles, commanding his Stotler inboard motors. Just listen to these things go right at this point in the race. The Predator race team running very strong at this point in time, and they are acting as a Predator right now, and they're taking on all comers. We wish them all the best here today in Point Pleasant, the Predator race team. There you see some of the distance that Predator has made up on Mandy Fernandez, Ferrari the Collection race team. These boats are virtually running neck and neck right now. However, different classes, so not a problem there, but nonetheless some excellent competition head-to-head. APBA bringing you nothing but the best in offshore powerboat racing. As you can see, we're going through some rough seas right here, and it's going to be like this throughout the entire day of racing. Both men and equipment are certainly going to take a pounding here today. We've been watching some excellent competitive racing between these two boats. Fernandez's Ferrari the Collection on the inside, Predator on the outside. Now we come up on another rough portion of the race course. In the front of your picture, it's Reggie Fountain's Fountain Race Team, and behind him it's the Dollar Marine Special. Let's highlight the Fountain Marine Special. There's a 45-foot Fountain racing hull powered by two 1,000 horsepower Mert Cruise inboard motors with Kike for outdrives. This boat is owned by Reggie Fountain of Washington, North Carolina, is doing the driving today, and Joe Detour from Coram, New York is your throttle man and navigator. Detour and Fountain have enjoyed a very exciting 1990 campaign. Nationally, they've already had a third place at Key West and a first place at Cape Coral, and just a couple weeks ago at Sarasota, they were running first, but they were doing an experimental run where Reggie was running with 3 inboard motors and had an excellent day of racing. That is a 40-foot Fountain race hull, not 45 feet, but is Reggie's 40-foot design that he is running with here today. Reggie Fountain, Joey Detour, what can I say? This year has really spoken for itself, and today looks like it's going to be no exception. They're going to be locked in a fierce duel with Mandy Fernandez, his team Ferrari, I'm sure, throughout most of the day. And we'll just have to see how that one pans out. However, Reggie is running in the manufactured Super V class, and Mandy is in UMI Open Division. But nonetheless, great competition. And just several weeks ago, even before Sarasota, Reggie Fountain took his boat down to an OPT race and really ran away with a race down there and showed that the APBA is certainly a top flight organization, as it always has in the past. And Reggie Fountain is also one of your stars throughout the APBA campaign, and he's really demonstrating it here today. Reggie Fountain's Fountain Race Team. And And as you can see on the outside, Fountain is locked in a fierce battle with Dollar Marine Special. John Herrick from Jericho is also enjoying a very fine run here today. You've got Dollar Marine Special on the outside, Reggie Fountain on the inside. Side-by-side racing, APBA, once again providing nothing but the best in offshore powerboat racing. And here are two very fierce competitors going at it right now. All boats are in the same class. You've got Team Ferrari, who is still leading, Fountain right here on the inside, and Dollar Marine Special on the outside, who's starting to take a slight lead right now. Certainly nothing to worry about here for Joe Detour and Reggie Fountain of the Fountain Race Team. Here you see again, once again, even racing, side by side and getting closer by the minute. Certainly a very narrow gap between those two boats. On the outside, Dollar Marine Special is a 41-foot Apache powered by two 800-horsepower Zool inboard motors with Kike for outdrives. This boat is owned by John Herrick from Jericho, New York. Throttling is Phil Lipschitz from Miami, Florida. Scott Herrick from Alexandria, Virginia is your driver, and John Herrick is your navigator. So John and Scott Herrick, along with Phil Lipschitz, making up the Dollar Marine Special Race Team. And they're certainly having a very strong run out here in these rough waters. The Apache race hull is ideal for these rough seas that they're going through right now. Dollar Marine Special really having a good run. They've just had an excellent challenge run along with Reggie Fountain. And right now they've emerged slightly ahead, but not by much, because just on the inside and right below our freeze frame video helicopter is Reggie Fountain. But we're staying with Dollar Marine Special, still locked in a battle with Fountain, and he's looking very good. Scott, John Herrick, Phil Lipschitz really doing a wonderful job with Dollar Marine Special. And Fountain is on the very far outside. As you see, on the very far outside, right there, looks almost like a small boat right now. That is Reggie Fountain. So certainly someone might be off course. There should be a course correction here. I see another boat behind Fountain, so perhaps Dollar Marine Special might be off course. We are not sure, but we'll have to wait and see how that one goes for the Dollar Marine Special Race Team. Now we come up on boat number 11, the Black Thunder Race Team. There's a 38-foot cigarette deep V racing hull powered by two 800-horsepower inboards with Merc Cruiser drives. This boat is owned by John Rubin from Warren, Ohio, who's your driver today. Skip Kreiner from Hollywood, Florida is on throttles, and Bill Marsteller from Youngstown, Ohio is your navigator. The Black Thunder Race Team, and they're locked in a fierce battle in the Superboat division today. You've already seen Mandy Fernandez's Team Ferrari, the Collection, Reggie Fountain's Fountain Race Boat, the Dollar Marine Special Race Team, and also in that class is Super Hawaii, Kirk and Alan Dunteman in the Agitator Race Team, who's going to be tough, and Smokey and the Bandit. So the Superboat class is certainly going to be a tight race here today, but Black Thunder is certainly looking very good right now. He's unofficially in third place right now in class. He has his work cut out for him, but this cigarette performs very well in these rough water conditions, ideal for the rough water, and he's looking very good at this point in time. On the national circuit, Black Thunder is in third place with national points. They took a second in Cape Coral, a fourth in Miami, and a third in Sarasota. And they're not that far behind between first and third place. Just a mere 49 points is separating the first and third place boat. So with a good finish here today, it will certainly help John Rubin. Right there you saw a big jump. Kreiner on the throttles doing an excellent job. But as I was saying, a good finish here today will certainly thrust Black Thunder into a very good position in the national points in the manufactured Super V class. From Point Pleasant, New Jersey, it's John Rubin's Black Thunder Race Team. Very rough seas right now, but Black Thunder seems to be doing quite well as it gets through this chop. They're doing very well right now, and we certainly wish them all the best. The Black Thunder race team, headed up by John Rubin, with Skip Kreiner on throttles and Bill Marsteller as your navigator. The Black Thunder race team. And now we come up on a very hot, exciting boat, the Agitator race team. This boat is owned and driven by Alan Dunteman from Oak Brook, Illinois, and Kirk Dunteman, also from Oak Brook, is your throttle man. The Agitator race team, it's a 32-foot skater powered by two 650 horsepower United Racing inboard motors with Merc Cruiser drives. And there in the background you see some of the many spectators who have come out here to Point Pleasant to watch this race. Although it is overcast, rough seas, the APBA brings out not only the best in racing, but also many, many spectators who have come out to watch this very exciting field here today. The Agitator race team has had a very good 1990 campaign already. They took a second in Key West, a first in Cape Coral, a first in Miami, a third in Sarasota, and they are trailing Mandy Fernandez's Team Ferrari, the collection, by a mere 10 points. So obviously a good showing here today by the Duntemans will really help improve their position and try to overtake Mandy Fernandez in this race. So we'll have to wait and see how things go. At the present point in time, the Duntemans are not running up to performance that they have in the past. They're lagging in the pack slightly. They might be having some mechanical problems, or the seas could just be a little too rough for this 32 skater catamaran hull. Many of the other races we've had have been very calm and they've performed quite nicely, but in the rough seas it could be a little slow. They are looking good. Nonetheless, they're running very well. They do have some rough seas, and they are going to have to make up some ground to try to overtake Mandy Fernandez's Team Ferrari, the collection. If anyone can do it, Alan and Kirk Dunteman certainly can. They've had a great 90 campaign so far, and they certainly hope to improve on it here today. From Point Pleasant, it's the Agitator race team. Now we zoom up on Kirk and Alan Dunteman. They look very comfortable in their racing capsules right there, and they're going all out right now to try to make up some of the ground between themselves and the lead boats. With these tough seas, it's going to be tough, but the Duntemans, true competitors here, and we wish them all the best. Kirk and Alan Dunteman, the Agitator race team. And now we come up on boat number 38. It's the Super Hawaii race team. There's a 38-foot Superhero V-bottom race hull powered by two 600 horsepower C-Tech diesel inboards with Bootsy outdrives. This boat is owned by Superhero Racing of Sarasota, Florida. Driving today, we've got Chris Bush from St. Paul, Minnesota. Jerry Gilbreth from Santa Ana, California is on throttles, and Joe Gear from Woodbridge, New Jersey is your navigator. The Super Hawaii race team. In the national circuit, Super Hawaii, in the manufactured Super V, is running in second place nationally. They had a second at Key West, a third in Miami, and a second at Cape Coral, a second in Sarasota, and they're just trailing your first place boat, Dollar Marine, by just 31 points. So certainly a good finish here would be very advantageous to Super Hawaii. With these rough seas, Super Hawaii is not running as strong as he had in the other races. Manny Fernandez is running very strong, as well as Reggie Fountain and Dollar Marine Special and Black Thunder are in your lead group. Then we have in class Super Hawaii and Agitator making up, according to the further back part of this category. However, the distance at the present point in time between the lead pack of boats and this group is very insignificant. Certainly not a problem to be made up over the long race that they're running here today in Point Pleasant. So we certainly wish them all the best. Super Hawaii Race Team from Point Pleasant, New Jersey. Then you see how close they come to the shores here in Point Pleasant. The APBA, working very hard to make this a very interesting spectator sport, has brought the race course closer to the shores on many of this year's race circuits. Now we come upon D19, the American Express Race Team. This is a 30-foot Chris Cat powered by two 650 horsepower Chevrolet inboard motors with Merc Cruiser outdrives. This boat is owned by Jim Cizani of Jamestown, Rhode Island, who is your driver of record and doing the throttling. Driving is Lanny Dellinger from Jamestown, Rhode Island also. The American Express Race Team. Already in 1990, they took a second in Virginia Beach, a third at Plymouth, and a first in Newburyport. So American Express has had a very good 1990 campaign thus far, and they certainly hoping to improve on these standings here today. And Offshore D is going to be a very tight race, as actually all the categories are. But in Offshore D, he'll be dueling with the Executioner, Assigned Risk, Predator. Those are certainly going to be some of the boats that must be tangled with. Bad Move 2 will also be there. Unofficially, he's running in third place at the present point in time, but certainly looking very strong. He's right behind Predator and the Executioner right now in the way that the boats are running. So with some good races already under his belt here for 1990, and with the way he's running right now, it certainly looks like he will be adding to his top three finishes here today, and that will certainly help him out in the regional points battle being waged throughout the Northeast on the APBA circuit in the Northeast region. Jim Cizani and Lanny Dellinger's American Express Race Team. And now we come up on D53, the assigned risk race team. There's a 32-foot Scorpion powered by two 800-horsepower Zool inboard motors with Merc Cruiser drives. This boat is owned by Countywide Auto from Maspeth, New York. Driving today, you've got Jim Loznowski from Babylon, New York. Louis Talercio from New York is on throttles, and navigating is Tom Rizzio from Queens, New York. Lou Talercio is your driver of record, but however, Loznowski from Extractor fame is driving today. Assigned risk. And they're running neck and neck with Executioner and American Express, who we saw earlier on. Assigned risk right now is unofficially in 4th place, running behind Predator, American Express, and the Executioner. However, with those Zool motors and the driving skills of Jim Loznowski, as well as the throttling ability of Talercio, they certainly should be a contender, and they are trying to make up some ground between themselves and some of the lead group of boats in the D category. From Point Pleasant, New Jersey, it's the assigned risk race team, and already this year in 1990, they have had a 1st place in Plymouth and a 4th place in Newburyport, so we certainly hope that they can continue on with success here in Point Pleasant. D53, the assigned risk race team. In these rough seas, Lou is doing a fine job of throttling for the assigned risk race team. Now we come up on D77. There's a 30-foot Chris Craft powered by three 240 horsepower Mercury outboard motors. This boat is owned and throttled by Stephen Whaley of Laconia, New Hampshire. Driving today is William Amadon, also from Laconia, New Hampshire. This boat is sponsored by Lakeport Landing Marina and the Sandbar at Weirs Beach. They've had a 3rd place finish at Newbury Grand Prix, which was their first race, and this group is formerly D4, the boat known as Chet's Landing. They're the 1988 Northeast High Points champ and 2nd in D in Key West in '88. So they do have some good racing lineage behind them. However, they are looking to get off and have a good start throughout 1990. They're presently running in the middle of the pack behind Executioner, American Express, Assigned Risk, and Predator. And they are holding off Bad Move 2, Tropical Heat, Wild Turkey, and Lethal Weapon. In the D class already, we have had some casualties. Tropic Heat 2, Wild Turkey, and Lethal Weapon, who I just mentioned, are no longer in the race. So some tough breaks for them, and hopefully they'll be back at the next race, and we wish them all the best throughout 1990. But right now, this boat that does not have a name, but it is being driven by William Amadon and throttled by Stephen Whaley, is looking very good, and we certainly hope that they can make up some distance between themselves and the lead group of boats. In the Superboat class, Smokey and the Bandit never really had a good start, and they're out of the race. Pro Stock, Bad Move, and Bandit is out of that one. And in Offshore Sea, Finish Line is experiencing some problems and they're forced out, as well as Risky Business. We'll try to bring you other updates on some of the other boats as this race continues. But we wish Stephen Whaley and William Amadon all the best here in Point Pleasant. Now we come up on P40, the Metro 1 race team. There's a 30-foot Chris Cat powered by three 230 horsepower Mercury outboard motors. This boat is owned by Ed Riley of Baldwin, New York, who is driving today. Doug Carmen from Freeport, New York, is on throttles, and John Coughlin, also from Baldwin, is your navigator. Coughlin, Carmen, and Riley making up the Metro 1 race team. And right now, at the present time, they're unofficially in second place behind Insanity, and they are holding off On It and Equalizer, as well as Panama Jack. So it's certainly going to be a tough battle here in Pro Stock, but they are looking very well right now. They've got a new sponsor, Metro 1, the cellular phone company, who has lent a hand here. And with that, there you see them getting their navigation coordinates on schedule and trying to line up for the next turn. They have a little distance to make up between themselves and Insanity, but they are a good team, and they're running just a slight bit behind Insanity. So anything can happen out here today with this race. We wish the Metro 1 race team all the best here today in Point Pleasant, New Jersey. Now we come up on C6, the Borderline race team. There's a 33-foot Excalibur powered by three 275 horsepower Mercury outboard motors. This boat is owned by Dan H. Rocco of Holmes Beach, Florida. And driving today, we've got Daniel C. Rocco from Holmes Beach, Florida. So Dan and Daniel Rocco making up the Borderline race team. And right now they're having a very good run in C-Class. They're just minutes behind Hydra Bandit, who's unofficially in first place, and they do have a fairly comfortable lead over Panther, Pro Marine Racing, Harris 777. And Rolling Thunder, who was having a very good run, unfortunately has retired, as has Bounty Hunter, Finish Line, and Risky Business in Offshore Sea. So tough break for them, but the Roccos and Borderline Race Team definitely want to seize this opportunity and have a very good run. Nationally, in the divisional points, they are in 11th place in Offshore Sea, so they'd really like to have a good finish here today and at least break the top 10 and start making a move on the top 3 finishers throughout the remainder of the 1990 season. And with their performance here today, they certainly are going to have a good start at that. So with that, it is C6, Dan H. Rocco and Daniel C. Rocco of the Borderline Race Team from Point Pleasant, New Jersey. Now we come up on the Bad Influence Race Team, B47. There's a 30-foot Thunderbird powered by two 370 horsepower long-port inboard motors with Merc Cruiser drives. This boat is owned by William R. Bubick from Northfield, New Jersey. William Swanson from Northfield is your driver, and Bill Bubick is your throttle man. Dave Wilson is your navigator. The Bad Influence Race Team, and at the present point in time, they're having a bad influence on everyone else. They're unofficially in first place and holding off Wild Thing right now. So we really got a good race shaping up here in D between Bad Influence, Wild Thing. B52, Jaws, Rare Breed are also in the hunt right now. But Bad Influence is running very strong. Barring any unforeseen mechanical difficulties, they are going to be a tough boat to catch. But behind them is Wild Thing, who is unofficially in second place right now in Offshore B. Bad Influence. They get a great bit of sponsorship from Longport Stern Drive. Already this year they took a third in Newburyport, and usually they do run in third and fourth positions. Longport Stern Drive. Sales and service is a full marina. They repair and build engines for race boats as well as pleasure. Longport Stern Drive. And with their help and the tenacity of the Bad Influence Race Team, they've really come out here and they're putting on a great show for the fans in Point Pleasant, New Jersey. B47, the Bad Influence Race Team, enjoying a very fine run here this afternoon. Now we come up on C-34, the Panther race team. This 30-foot all-red wallcraft is powered by two 500-horsepower Mercury inboard motors with Merc Cruiser outdrives. This boat is owned by Bruce Billow from Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Bruce is doing the driving today. On throttles, we've got John Staunch from Long Beach Island, New Jersey, and Jeffrey Millinghausen from Ship Bottom, New Jersey is your navigator. The Panther race team. Presently, they're in third place behind Hydra Bandit and Borderline and having a very good run. Rolling Thunder has already dropped out. Tough break for them, but it certainly has opened up the doors for some other competitors in C-Class. Bounty Hunter is out. Risky Business is out. Spirit of New Jersey was unable to start. And Harris 777 and C11 are running, but they are toward the back of the pack in C. But Panther right now is enjoying a very good run. They are chasing Hydra Bandit and Borderline, and they are able to hold off the hard-charging Pro Marine Racing. So we've really got a great race shaping up here in Offshore C today. Millinghausen, Staunch, and Billow doing a great job in the Panther race team. From Point Pleasant, New Jersey, we wish C-34, the Panther race team, all the best, and they're enjoying a very fine run right now and doing a great job on the throttles as they come out of the water, and they're really going all out to try to catch the leaders in Offshore C. Now we come up to the S boats. You've got Bad Boys on the outside and Bermuda Racing on the inside. Let's take Bad Boys first. Bad Boys is a 24-foot skater powered by two 200-horsepower Mercury outboard motors. This boat is rigged at Pro Marine. This boat is owned by Angelo Moro Jr. of Colts Neck, New Jersey. Angelo is your throttle man, and Michael Green of Colts Neck, New Jersey is your driver. And on the inside, the black boat is Bermuda Racing S941. This is also a 24-foot skater. There you see them both rounding the checkpoint. Bermuda Racing is also powered by two 200-horsepower Mercury outboard motors. So we basically have identical racing boats right here. Bermuda Racing really having some trouble negotiating that turn. You see how rough it was as they come around the turn, but now they're getting back on plane. Bad Boys made up a little ground there on the turn, and Bermuda Racing is really trying to go all out now. These 24-foot boats really take a pounding out here in the rough seas. A skater performs so great in calm water conditions that we've had throughout much of 1990. But here on the shores of Point Pleasant, it's some rough racing conditions, and it does result in some lower average per mile speeds. Bermuda Racing is rigged at East Coast Marine. It is owned by Bermuda Racing in Cavendish Heights, Bermuda. Driving today, you've got Anthony Stoneham from Southampton, Bermuda, and Derek Simmons is your throttle man from Cavendish Heights, Bermuda. Bermuda Racing Team going head-to-head with Bad Boys. Now we've got Bad Boys on the inside of the screen, Bermuda Racing on the outside. There you get an idea of just how well Bermuda Racing is running right now, in that they've made up the little bit of distance that they lost in the curve against Bad Boys, and they're coming right up even right now with Bad Boys. Great racing put out by the APBA. Once again in all divisions, whether it's Superboat on down to Offshore A, APBA gives you the best in offshore powerboat racing and very competitive racing. And right here we've got a great battle going on in the stock division between, oh boy, look at this racing right there. Bad Boys really coming out of the water there. This is great. Bad Boys on the inside, Bermuda Racing on the outside, door-to-door racing right here. Nothing but the best on APBA. We've got a stock battle war going on right now, second to none. At the present point in time, these two boats are having a very close run. Neck and neck, very even at this point in time. Bermuda Racing is unofficially running in second and third place right now, and Bad Boys are looking very strong. After the second lap, they were in first place, and we'll have to see how things shake out here as we're getting into the third lap. But Bermuda Racing is looking very good, as well as Jets Are Us and Courageous Cat, but Bad Boys really having a run today. Boy, what great racing. These skaters are taking a pounding in the rough waters off the coast of Point Pleasant, New Jersey. What great racing between Bad Boys and Bermuda Racing. Bermuda Racing seems to have gotten the best of it right now. They haven't been coming out of the water as much, and they seem to be running a little calmer and have a little better attitude right now as compared to Bad Boys. But what a great show these two boats have put on for us. Courageous Cat unofficially in first place. Jets Are Us are there. Sunfire's still in there. Bermuda Racing, Godspeed, Bad Boys. Everyone is going at it right now in the stock division. Too close to call right now. There you get a nice shot of that bow as they come out of the water and the tunnel effect that this catamaran is producing. The Bad Boys race team. Great shot there by Jeff Girardi. And there you get an idea of the distance between Bermuda Racing and Bad Boys. Great bit of racing by the Bermuda Racing team. Derek Simmons and Anthony Stoneham doing a fantastic job here today at Point Pleasant. Right there, they took a bad bounce, but nonetheless, they're back at it. This equipment, as well as the crews, are really going to pay a price here for today in running in these rough water conditions here off Point Pleasant, New Jersey. But that's what this sport is all about. The equipment, as well as the crews, are certainly capable of taking this punishment, and after today, they'll certainly have earned their keep today. The Bermuda Racing Team. Acknowledgement of freeze frame video right there, and we're sitting back enjoying a fine racing performance put on by Stoneham and Simmons right now in the Bermuda Racing Team. Simmons doing a fine job on the throttles. very similar to that last jump that they had several minutes ago. Really taking some punishment out here, but nonetheless, true competitors that they are, they're going all out. The Bermuda race team. That was another rough one. Boy, did you see that one? They came out and they were forced to the port side very drastically, but nonetheless, they're still going at it. Bermuda Racing is still in the race. Now we have S3, the Courageous Cat race team. There's a 27-foot Cougar powered by two 200-horsepower Mercury outboard motors. This boat is owned by Scott Greer of Sarasota, Florida, who is driving today. And on throttles, you've got Paul E. Kesserling, also from Sarasota, rounding out the Courageous Cat race team. We'd like to take a minute here to thank Carol Kesserling, who's done a great job in assisting the staff of Freeze Frame Video with some technical information. Courageous Cat, right now they're enjoying a very good run. They're presently in first place, holding off Jets Are Us, Sunfire, Bermuda Racing, who we've seen, Godspeed, and Bad Boys already. Courageous Cat, presently they're 5th place nationally in the stock group. So with a good finish here today, that will certainly help improve their standing and perhaps move them into the top 3 in this division. So they're right now, if things hold up, they will make that move, and they're looking very good right now. They're going to be a tough boat to catch in the stock division. Bermuda Racing is hanging in there, as well as Jets Are Us and Bad Boys behind Courageous Cat. It's from Point Pleasant, New Jersey. It's Scott Greer and Paul Kesserling in Courageous Cat Race Team. Now we come up on Harrah's 777 race team. It's a 29-foot Panther powered by two 440 horsepower Mercury inboard motors with Merc Cruiser drives. This boat is owned by Makar Seelig of Abscon, New Jersey, who is your driver. Throttling today is Jason Seelig from Abscon, and also from Abscon is your navigator, Jeff Seelig. The Seeligs making up the Harrah's 777 race team, C777. And slightly ahead of them right now is C11 Pro Marine Racing. So we've got quite a battle shaping up between Pro Marine Racing and Harrah's 777. Right now, these are the 4th and 5th place boats, and this looks going to shape up into quite a battle. Let's focus on Harrah's 777. They're sponsored by Harrah's Marine Hotel and Casino in Atlantic City. They have two additional team members this year. Joe Theismann, who is the former Washington Redskin quarterback and ESPN commentator, and Phil Satry, who is president and CEO of Harrah's Hotels and Casinos. And look at this battle going on right now. You've got Pro Marine on the outside and Harrah's 777 really doing very fine on the inside. They have quite a bit of power as they pass Pro Marine, getting close toward the finish line. So this is certainly a good bit of racing right now. Harrah's 777 is doing a good job on Pro Marine. Satry summed up his feelings this way: I'm very excited about this opportunity and look forward to contributing to Harrah's 777 championship team along with Joe Theismann. Harrah's, which is one of the oldest gaming companies in the United States, is in its 3rd year of sponsorship of the Harrah's 777 racing team. Other sponsors are Mobil Oil Corporation and Discovery Travel and Tours. Now we come up on the MRD Special Race Team. There's a 30-foot superboat powered by two 400 horsepower MRD inboard motors with Merc Cruiser drives. This boat is owned, driven, and throttled by Robert Cardinal of West Islip, New York, and Frank Schweizer of Bohemia, New York is your navigator. Sponsors for MRD include MRD, Everlast Sports Bags, Bob St. John for Amsoil Products, and Amber Lion Enterprises, all lending a hand to make MRD a true success. That's MRD, Marine Research Development. They rig boats out in eastern Long Island, and they certainly are a great boat rigger for all your offshore powerboat as well as pleasure boat boating needs. MRD. And they've had a great race campaign already. They took a first in Newburyport, a first in Buffalo, and right now they're unofficially in first place, so they're really having a good run as they hold off Empty Pockets, Spoiled Bananas, Deuces Are Wild, and Going Bananas. Robert Cardinal's MRD Special Race Team. Jeff Girardi of Freeze Frame Video would like to extend a special thanks to Robert Cardinal for all the help he's done in engineering some technical machine parts for the Freeze Frame Video crew. MRD Special Marine doing an excellent job here today. And they are running a superboat which is made out in Long Island. Superboat racing boats. RC doing a great job of throttling. And on the far outside, that's Metro 1. So you've got MRD Special on the inside and Metro 1 on the outside. Metro 1 still having a good run in Pro Stock, 2nd place behind Insanity. But MRD is enjoying a very good run here today in Offshore A. Presently running in 1st place, Robert Cardinal's MRD Special Race Team. Freeze frame video. There you see RC acknowledging the freeze frame video copter. Great run for RC MRD race team. Now we come up on S20, the Godspeed race team. This is a 24-foot skater powered by two 200 horsepower Mercury outboard motors. This boat is owned by Lipscomb Marine in Tab, Virginia. Driving today, you've got Lewis Ned Lipscomb Jr. from Pocasson, Virginia, and Richard Mundy from Hampton, Virginia is your throttle man. Lipscomb and Mundy making up the Godspeed race team. On the national circuit, Godspeed is presently in third place in total points. They've had a sixth in Key West, a sixth in Cape Coral, a great performance in Miami where they took third, and a disappointing seventh in Sarasota. But nonetheless, they are in third place, slight cushion over Concattac, and they are chasing Jets or Us. So they need a definitely good finish here today to try to take over into second place. So we'll have to wait and see how things shape up. But right now, Godspeed is enjoying a relatively good run. After the first lap, they were in first place, with Courageous Cat trailing, but then they were plagued by some slight problems, perhaps, or the rough water conditions, as then they dropped back to fourth and fifth place. So Godspeed is not running as strong as they were in the first lap, but they are trailing Courageous Cat, Jets Are Us, Bermuda Racing, who you saw earlier on, and Sunfire. We certainly hope they can pick it up and have a good run here today. Ned Lipscomb's Godspeed race team. There you see they have been coming through some rough water conditions because the engine cover has completely come off your starboard motor. So maybe there might be something there. They have had some rough racing, and that missing engine cover can certainly attest to that. The Godspeed race team. And just as it began earlier on in the race, they're still going head-to-head. On the inside, it's Reggie Fountain's Fountain Marine race team, and on the outside, it's Mandy Fernandez's Team Ferrari The Collection. What a battle this has been. They've been going at it like this for over 100 miles already, and there seems to be no end in sight. They could go all day like this. Fountain takes a slight lead right now, but you can count on Mandy to come right back. They've been going nip and tuck all day. Reggie Fountain with Joe Detour and his boat, Mandy Fernandez and his crew over there. What great racing these guys have been putting on all day. They've enjoyed it, we've enjoyed it, and I'm sure the fans love it here in Point Pleasant, New Jersey. Two superstars in the APBA circuit. Mandy Fernandez, right there you're looking at, Team Collection, the Ferrari, and here comes Reggie Fountain's Fountain Marine. This is certainly a battle for the national point standings. They need all the points they can get. Fernandez unofficially in first place, but Reggie would like nothing more than to take on some points and move up in his class also. And there you see Mandy making up the ground. Look at him start picking it up. He's got that throttle down. It's a little calmer here on this leg of the race course, and Mandy's taking full advantage of it as he makes up the slight lead that Reggie had. This is what I mean. It goes back and forth. Reggie had it for a while. Now Mandy, then Reggie responds. And they've been racing side by side for the entire race. There's nothing better. When this one's over, these guys are certainly going to have mutual respect and admiration for one another. Reggie Fountain on the inside, Mandy Fernandez on the outside. Great racing in Point Pleasant, New Jersey. We wish Mandy Fernandez and Reggie Fountain all the best as they're two great champions going at it head-to-head in today's race. This one's going to go right down to the wire between these two boats. And now we come up on P24, the Insanity Race Team. There's a 30-foot Shadow Cat powered by two 265 horsepower Mercury outboard motors. This boat is owned and throttled by Chuck New of Staten Island, New York. Jason New from Staten Island is your driver, and Barry Hunt is your navigator from Jersey City, New Jersey. The Insanity Race Team. And they're having a very good run right now. They're holding off Metro 1, Onit, and Equalizer at the present point in time. Really having a good day here today in Pro Stock. They've been first at every lap. Metro 1 has been right behind them on their tail. Onit has been behind them. And it's just been like that throughout the day. But Insanity is able to hold off Metro 1, and it seems if provided there are no mistakes, the mechanical problems at Insanity should be able to hang on and take first place in their class. But we'll have to wait and see on that one, but they're running very strong, and they are the boat to catch in Pro Stock. They're presently running in first place, and they're looking very strong and confident right now. P24, the Insanity Race Team. The Insanity Race Team is one of the other boats who are rigged at Pro Marine. They do a fine job in rigging race boats as well as pleasure boats. The Insanity Race Team from Point Pleasant, New Jersey, enjoying a great run here today. Now we come up on the IROC Race Team B888. There's a 30-foot Velocity powered by two 365 horsepower Mercury inboard motors with Merc Cruiser outdrives. This boat is owned by IROC Offshore Racing in Binghamton, New York. Richard G. Hobart from Binghamton is your driver. James Hobart is your throttleman, also from Binghamton. And Bill McCarthy from Binghamton is your navigator. So McCarthy and the Hobarts making up the IROC Race Team. This is their first year on the circuit, and already they've taken a 6th in Virginia Beach and a 3rd in Buffalo, which was a very good performance for them. And they'd really like to have a good run here today. They're running in the middle of the pack in B Division. The competition is tough. Wild Thing, Bad Influence, B52, Rare Breed, Jaws are all running in there, but IROC is hanging in there. We've had so many casualties already. Ooh, look at that. But no problem for these guys. IROC race team really coming on and showing the fans what they're all about. Offshore B has had heavy casualties. Peter Myers and Tony Leccaro's Lady Yell are out. Creative Native, Pro Marine Racing is out. Shockwave, Wide Open, Power Hungry, American Dream, all boats already out. So we only have about 6 boats running, so IROC really has a great opportunity, and they're trying to make up some ground between themselves and Rare Breed right now. So it's B888, the IROC race team from Binghamton, New York, headed up by Richard Hobart. Now we come up on S6, the Sunfire race team. There's a 24-foot skater powered by two 200-horsepower Mercury outboard motors. This boat is owned by Noel Friedley of Michigan City, Indiana. Noel is doing the driving, and Tad Kimes from Key West, Florida, is your throttle man. The Sunfire race team, headed up by Friedley and Kimes. What a great year they've had already. So far in the stock class for 1990, they're in first place, but only by a mere of 3 points separates them and the Jets R Us race team. And how did Sunfire get there? Well, they had a 3rd place in Key West, a 2nd in Cape Coral, a 2nd in Miami, and a 3rd in Sarasota, giving them the lead, but not by much, over Jets R Us. So today's race is certainly pivotal in the national point standing between these two boats. But Sunfire right now is enjoying a relatively good run. With these rough racing conditions, they're experiencing some of the problems that Bad Boys and Bermuda Racing was experiencing early on. It is difficult to make some good time in these rough seas for these boats. However, Courageous Cat is hanging on to a nice lead. Jets R Us is looking good, and Sunfire. So it's a duel right now between Sunfire and Jets R Us, and we wish them all the best as this race is starting to come to the closing stages. S6, the Sunfire race team. Now we come up on A52, Spoiled Banana. There's a 24-foot banana boat powered by a single 300-horsepower Johnson outboard motor. This boat is owned, driven, and navigated by James E. Brown of North Falmouth, Massachusetts. And throttling today, we've got Carol R. Brown of West Falmouth, Massachusetts. This is a mother-son team, and this is certainly a tribute to a family racing together. It's been a rough ride. There you see Carol holding on to that seat. She's doing an excellent job throttling, but she's really having a rough ride, and we certainly hope she's okay after this one. She'll really earn her keeps today. Spoiled Banana is having a relatively good run in Offshore A. They're presently in third place behind MRD, who's in first, Empty Pockets in second, and they are holding off in fourth place. Deuces Are Wild and Gone Bananas in fifth place. So James Brown and his mother, Carol Brown, are enjoying a relatively successful run here today in Point Pleasant. A52, the Spoiled Banana race team. Now we come up on another A boat. It's A4, Empty Pockets. This is a red 28-foot signature powered by two 300 horsepower Mercury inboard motors with Merc Cruiser outdrives. This boat is owned by Brooke Dyer of Millersville, Maryland. Brooke Dyer does the driving. Ken Irving of Glen Burnie, Maryland is your throttle man, and Frank Blatt from Annapolis, Maryland is your navigator. The Empty Pockets race team, and they're enjoying a very good run right now. They're presently in second place behind MRD, and they're holding off Spoiled Banana, who we just saw earlier on. The Empty Pockets race team, already this year they've had a 6th in Newburyport and a 3rd in Buffalo, and they've had a great year coming together with this boat, the team, and some sponsors that they'd like to thank. They'd like to extend a very special thanks to Farrier Marine Instruments, Glen Burnie Auto Parts, Dye & Associates, and Tri-State Steel Erectors for all the help that they've given Empty Pockets race team. So as the race is starting to come to a close in many of the classes, we're going to stay with Empty Pockets as he heads towards the start-finish line in his final lap. And after that, we will be totaling up the results, and in just moments, we will be bringing you the final results of the Ray Catena 1990 Offshore Grand Prix in all classes.